Today we're going to talk a little bit about the power of WordPress. Now, WordPress, as you probably know, is blogging software. That's what it was born to do. Because it was blogging software, this is what makes it so special for people that want to use it online for other reasons besides blogs. And hopefully, after we finish this class, you'll see that when we talk about having a WordPress site, we're not talking about having a blog. We're talking about having a website that can do almost anything that you need to do online. Because it was a blog software to begin with, however, it's very easy to use. It's been made and designed specifically for people who want to be able to do something quickly. I want to add content. I don't have more than 30 seconds. Here it is, bang. It's hard to do that in a traditional website. There's a whole lot of steps you have to usually go through. With blogging software, you don't even need to be at your own computer where you have your web design software and your FTP software and all your other stuff. With blogs, you can be somewhere on the other side of the globe from where you live, stop into an internet cafe, boom, you can update your site and you're gone. That's the beauty of using this kind of platform to build your website. The other thing is it's not only easy to use and update, but it's easy to customize. Why is it easy to customize? Because it's built on what's called a content management system. That means that the content of the site and the design of the site are divorced from each other. The content exists in its own world, the design exists in another world, and you can change them independently without affecting each other. This is another thing that's very different from a traditional website. Several years ago, websites began to diverge their content and their design, and you may have heard web designers now talking about XML and DHTML and CSS as well as HTML. And that means that there's some divergence between the content and the design on a traditional website. But a traditional website where you have those two things separated out is a lot more complicated to build than a WordPress site. And so it's not usually available to the simple I want a 10-page, 5-page website, single entrepreneur working from home. You're going to spend a lot more money to have somebody build something with active service pages or XML or PHP. It becomes much more complicated. WordPress, you just get your template up there and you're good to go. It's easy to use. And you can redesign your site if you find that customers are coming into your site or readers or browsers, depending on how you're using it. And you use heat map software to see what they're looking at, and you find out your sidebar is on the wrong side. You don't have to redesign your whole site. You don't have to take down your content. Basically, you just pick a different theme or you change a few lines in your CSS and your sidebar moves and the site stays just the same. It can literally be fixed in a matter of seconds sometimes on WordPress instead of in a matter of weeks or days. That's one of the things that makes content management so valuable. Now, that's all well and good for people who know anything about web design, but so what? Really and truly, you don't really care. You don't want to do all of this stuff. If you were interested in it, you'd already know it. Well, here's the deal. Content management, ease of use, building out, scalability, all of that matters because it's part of who you are on the internet. Are you somebody who is famous? Are you somebody who people are out looking for? Or are you a small person working from home, trying to build a business? You've got a good start on eBay, you've got a good platform, and now you want to expand out. That's most of us. Most of us, if you go out on the street and you say, "Do you know Danny Byrne?" I can guarantee you that the answer is no. Even on my block, the answer is going to be no for most people walking down the street. let alone if you go down to the busiest street in town and ask. Now, if you go out and say, do you know Janelle Elms, a few more people are going to say yes. But still, the majority of people you ask on the street are going to say no. Multiply that by the entire country, then by the entire world. On the internet, we're just little specks of light. There is so much information. There are so many people. There are so many websites that your little store is lost in the hurly-burly of the Milky Way. You know, we think the sun rises and sets on our world. None of us are nothing in the course of the universe. It's this little speck of light. And that's what it's like on the internet. You're 99% anonymous. In fact, even the superstars on the internet are almost anonymous. This is a true story. This guy's a superstar. He probably thinks he is. We all think we are in our own living room, as Annie Lennox says. But Cindy is helping to put together this conference on Amazon that happens every year. She's organizing a panel for it. And there's a very well-known eBay marketer who just recently learned about it. And he wrote to the Amazon organizers and said, hey, I hear you're doing a conference. I'd like to participate. Now, if I told you this fella's name, and he's a good guy. I'm not putting him down. He's a good guy. If I told you his name, you'd know him. The organizer of this conference wrote to Cindy and said, hey, have you ever heard of this guy? Why would he want to come and talk to us? This is what it's like on the internet. We're all in our own little corners. We're all fragmented in our own specialties. So even though you may be extremely well known in one corner of the internet, in another, there's 100,000 people that have never heard of you or your niche or your site. And breaking off from eBay and just going out on your own is going to be hard. You're not going to become an instant success. The top 10 websites in the USA, according to Alexa, what do you see when you look at these? You see that they're search engines by and large. Consistently, people visit many times during the day a site to find a site. The internet has so much information that you need Google, you need Yahoo, you need Windows Live Search, you need Wikipedia, you need MSN, you need places that are your sign maps to find out where other things are. The other thing you'll notice is that social media is big, where people share. That's what they want to do. They want to be entertained, they want to share, they want to find stuff. You get all the way down to Craigslist, number 9, before you find a site that can be called some sort of selling site. And really, Craigslist is on there sort of as an e-commerce site, but it's not pure commerce in the traditional sense. The first real buying and selling site on the top 10 list is eBay at number 10. So leaving eBay is not the way to guarantee your success. You still want to be on eBay. eBay is going to be useful to you all throughout your career, probably, of selling on the internet. Now, I know some of you who were on the call 2 weeks ago are saying, didn't you just spend like an hour saying, go out on your own your business, get your site? Yes, I did. And I'm not telling you not to do it now. You still need to do that. But you need to do it with a realistic expectation of what the site will achieve and what you can use this site for. Let's just look at e-commerce according to Alexa. The top 100 sites on the internet in the USA. These are the top e-commerce sites. There aren't even 10 e-commerce sites on the top 100. The only one to crack the top 10 is eBay. Then we get Amazon. Then we fall all the way down to number 44 before we find Walmart. Now, if I were to tell you that Walmart barely makes the top 50 stores in the USA, you would hurt yourself. You would laugh so hard. You know that Walmart is the engine of commerce in America. If you were able to beat Walmart by 5 or 10% every year, you would be just rolling in money. On the internet, Walmart, please. People who have porn sites are in here, way above Walmart. People who have entertainment sites, way above Walmart. And then we fall down to 53 for Target. Half of the top 100, and Target's not in them. 57 for Dell. Where the heck else do people go to buy their computers? You can't buy them on the real world anymore. You have to go to the internet. And Dell is only 57. Best Buy is 66. Newegg is 84. And these are among computer-savvy shoppers. These are people who shop on the internet, and they're still not in the top 50. So what we see is that consistently on the internet, the importance of search engines. What's not in the top 100? There's no Zappos. Everybody's talking about Zappos as the place to be. We got to follow their example. We got to have their customer service. We got to use their kind of website and software. They're not even a top 100 site. There's no Overstock. They were the darling of the internet 2 years ago. I think it was all like, ooh, let's all be Overstock. Still not in the top 100. There's none of the big box stores except Best Buy. Maybe they've all gone bankrupt by now. I'm not sure who's left, but the big box stores don't rank. The ones that really surprised me for not being here, Office Depot, Office Max, Staples. I go to them constantly. I love office supplies. And I'm always like, I do go to them in person occasionally, but why would I go down to Office Depot and buy a case of paper and pick it up and carry it to my car and carry it into the house? It's so much easier to just go online, click a button, and make the UPS guy throw his back out carrying the case of paper around. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who does that, and yet they don't rank. So you've got to see that to rank consistently on the internet, what you need to do is rank on Google. Let me repeat that. The web is so big that to find your site without Google, it's impossible. If your site ranks number 100,000, and I'm not being sarcastic here, you're doing really well. If you find yourself in the top 100,000 of Alexa and you've been running a website for a while, you brag about it. You say, hey, I'm 50,000 and I'm moving up. I mean, the web is immense. It's huge. If you want to know where you are on the internet, you need to know that you have to rank on Google. You have to be on the first page of Google, and you have to be number 1 through 5 probably, if you really want to do it. So now you're all sitting there and say, yeah, wasn't this class supposed to be about WordPress? I thought this class was about WordPress. We're doing the Google thing again? Yes, we are. And why is that? That's because there's one thing you need to know about WordPress right out of the box. WordPress will help you rank on Google. You can go down to, well, you can't go to CompUSA. There must be somewhere where you can go to buy software these days. You can go to Fry's. You can go to Staples, and you can buy Dreamweaver, or you can buy Web Expressions, or you can download PageBreeze. You can buy HTML software and design your own sites from scratch. But you're going to risk making a lot of mistakes that will hurt your Google ranking. Because the web content and the web design are not divorced, you may find yourself, if you don't know how, making your sidebar on each page, you put in all of your links over and over and over again, and Google will count them towards a duplicate content penalty. Doesn't happen with WordPress. And plus it makes it a real pain in the neck when you want to update something. You have to go and update every single page. Janelle talked to you last week about Google Analytics and how you have to add it to every page in your website. And if you don't have an XLM footer, you do. You'd have to go through every single page on your website, and that could be 20 pages, it could be 100 pages, Might be 7 or 8 pages, but it's still a lot of pages, and insert that code. If you have a content management system like WordPress, you put it in once, you're done. It's spread throughout. So you want to use WordPress because WordPress is built right out of the box to harmonize with Google's goals. Google likes fresh content. Google likes multimedia. Google likes social content. Google likes linking. These are the things that make Google happy. And these are the things that WordPress was originally built to do. If you have a WordPress blog, you have people coming in and commenting on it. If you're using static pages, you can still use comments. You can build in forms for customers to talk to you. If you have a WordPress site, you can pull in multimedia, which changes frequently. If you have a WordPress site, you can have a sidebar with links, you can have articles with links, you can have links all over the place coming in and going out. Google will just like you. So why try to reinvent the wheel? Use it. In other words, Google loves WordPress. Just don't make it hard on yourself. We're starting out. We don't want to spend $5,000 getting a website built and designed for e-commerce. You can do it on this platform. But you say, I don't want to blog. I can hear some of you. You're still sitting there saying, but I don't want to blog. You don't have to blog. If you don't have something to say every day on a blog, don't worry about it. But if you build your site on WordPress, the exciting thing is that WordPress incorporates static pages and a blog, and you can decide which one you want to use at any given time. It's best not to go back and forth. I mean, you want to settle on this at some point, but you can make it one or the other. And you can have a static website with a blog built in as part of your website. This is great for your ranking because Google will constantly see the occasional, say 3 times a week updates to your blog, and it will come back and re-index your site, which will keep your rankings high. If you build your site and you don't change anything, Google stops coming in and re-indexing. They say there's not fresh content. We don't have to go in and look for it very often. We're not getting pings. We're not getting any reason to go look. Just saying that you sold 4 pairs of socks and now you've changed your inventory to reflect that. So instead of having 10 pairs of socks in stock, you now have 6 pairs. Google doesn't find that a really compelling reason to re-index your website generally. You're still selling the same socks. So a blog integrated into a static website will help your ranking. It will help you sell. Google likes all of these things. What this means is that your store is going to be your megaphone. It's going to get you known. It's going to get you ranked. It's going to help make you that famous person that people know about. Because the truth is, I don't have to be known to everybody in the world. Doesn't matter if my neighbors know who I am. Doesn't matter if I can stand down on the corner of Pike and Fifth Avenue and hold up a sign saying I'm famous on the internets. And everybody looks at me like I'm a lunatic, even if I am famous on the internet. Because I don't have to be known to people who don't want to buy what I'm selling. I don't care about them. I want to be known to the people who are my perfect customers. I want to be known to the people who already know that they want what I have to offer. And that's why it's so important to rank on Google. Those people are coming looking for you. You want to be right there at that crossroads when they come in. So your store is used to sell your products, but first you have to sell your store. You want to be the guy who is driving that ice cream truck up and down the street every day playing Scott Joplin's Ragtime all summer long until you can't hear that song without your mouth watering and you're thinking about an ice cream soda or a hot fudge sundae. You want to use your website to be that person that's standing out on a busy street corner on the highway with the sandwich board saying 50% off mattresses this week. And you see them every day, and you think, this week is every week. But eventually, when you need a mattress, you think, I'm going to go to that mattress place and look at their mattresses. It becomes subliminal. It's in your mind. You want to be the place that has the ad every week in your neighborhood newspaper. Maybe you can't take out a full-page ad in a Sunday paper, but you can take out a quarter-page ad in the weekly neighborhood newspaper, and you build a relationship. People say, this is the hometown store. This is the people who are supporting my neighborhood. I'm going to go look at them. You want to be the person who is always coming up when they search for the terms that they're interested in, so that you become as ubiquitous as that clap on, clap off, the clapper commercial. There are people who know that slogan who live in countries that don't have electricity. That's who you want to be. Not because it matters that they don't have electricity, but because you're reaching everywhere through Google. Your web store is your marketing presence. Yes, you can use it to sell, and you will sell, and we want you to sell through it, and WordPress will help you do that. But the big advantage is that WordPress is going to help you rank on Google, and it's going to help you get known. To sell your products, you need to have that old retail cliche. The three things that matter on retail are location, location, location. On the internet, the three things that matter are ranking, ranking, ranking. You need to rank on the first page of Google. And let me keep pounding on that. It's not good enough to be on the second page of Google. It's not good enough to be number 8 on Google. You have to find a way out of all of the millions of people doing the same thing as you to be number 1 on Google. That's not easy, and WordPress makes it much, much easier. Interesting sites rank with Google. Relevant sites rank with Google. Content-rich sites rank with Google. Google ranks people that are interesting to them and to their customers, not to you and your customers. So the first thing you have to do is think that Google wants people to keep coming back to Google, so that you can't just find a way to cheat and keep on top of Google, because they're going to penalize you. You actually have to have interesting, relevant, good content. So let's look at an example here, if I can figure out how to do it. Janelle just left the room. This isn't my computer, so I'm sorry to fiddle around here a little bit, but I have to figure out how to get things up. This is a website that is built entirely on WordPress. I showed you it 2 weeks ago, I believe, before it went live. And if we looked around this website, you would not know that it was a WordPress site. It's got over 25 static pages with all kinds of stuff on it, plus a blog. The blog is the only thing that looks traditionally WordPress. It's got good links down the side, which are made exceptionally easy by WordPress, because you just say, enter the pages on my site, and it does it. So that if I add a new page, it's on here automatically. If I take out a page, it's off here automatically. That's all cool, but the cool thing as far as Google is concerned is all of these pages start to build what's called an authority hub. All this internal linking helps Google index your site, and it improves your rankings. It's very hard to keep this up to date on your own. Google likes it. You want to have it. WordPress makes it automatic. Here's their name and address on every page. Why is that important? Because to rank on Google these days, you want to rank locally. You want Google's local search to look for you. And that means it'll look at a page and at Google actually will see the phone number, the address, the street address, the zip code, and use those things to help serve results, because Google knows everything, and local search is becoming more and more and more important in Google. If you got the Rockstar newsletter today, you saw Janelle quoted a report about the rankings on local search are now outstripping the rankings on the universal search for Google. So unless you can use a platform that makes this kind of thing possible, you're just making a lot of extra work for yourself. This site is built for a local landscaping company in Seattle. And landscaping is not an especially computer-savvy network. Or it's not a network, what is it? Business. It's not a business that uses a lot of computer-related activity. And most landscaping sites, quite frankly, stink. When you look at them, they're all bad. None of them seem to understand SEO. None of them are very graphic. And they all violate the first rule of websites. They're all about themselves. None of them are about their customers. So it's very easy, once you start working on it with a knowledge of what Google wants, to rank for something like this. Well, the old website for this company didn't rank very well. The owner, and luckily Janelle has left the room, because if she heard this, she'd fall down and probably start shaking. The old owner actually said to me, I don't want the kind of people who would find us on Google, because he thought that Google would be used mostly by people who wanted home residential landscaping, and that's not their business. This is a commercial outfit that does hotels and parks and, big, it's a business-to-business business, not a business-to-consumer business. And he was just convinced that businesses don't look on the web. Well, with a little help from Google Analytics and some other places, I was able to start showing him that he was just mistaken about that. We started working on building the rankings on Google Local, and over the course of about a month, we were able to top out on the six-pack on Google Local and start building the rankings up. And that started actually bringing in phone calls from other businesses looking for plant care. And he said to me, I suddenly started, we had this email address set up that was for the web, people that found him through the web. And he said, I hadn't gotten any email on this address for 4 months, and in the last month I've gotten 10 requests for quotes. Where are they coming from? And I said, they're coming from Google. I showed you, you're ranking on the six-pack. Now do you want me to redo the website? And he said, yeah. Now I understand. The people who use Google are everyone. No one uses the yellow pages anymore. Well, he didn't say that. I said that. But no one uses the yellow pages anymore. And so this site we've worked on, we changed almost everything. We built it with the idea that it's not about plantscapes. It's about what plantscapes can offer to customers, which is very important. This is a lesson you need to remember for your own websites. Customers do not care about you. They care about what they need. So your website has to offer them what they need. You have to answer the question, what's in it for me, on every page. So we tried to do that. We tried to use the keywords. We did a lot of keyword research to see what people look for. And we began to build it out. Here's the six-pack today. You'll notice if you search for Plant Care Seattle, they're number one in the six-pack, and they're also the number one site that comes up. Now the six-pack, they were on it in number 3. The website brought them up to 1, and this linking underneath the six-pack where you have the Seattle's best interior. How do I get over there? Here we go. This one where they're number 1, they were number 5. So the website has made quite a difference in that ranking. They were nowhere for exterior landscaping before. Now they're number 2. This is another result of using WordPress and understanding keywords. This went from, I could not even find these guys for exterior landscaping, literally. I'd gone through 15 pages and my eyes hurt too much from the reading and I'd never found them, so I just gave up and said, y'all don't rank. Just admit it. You don't rank for this word. And this is your main business. You don't rank for what you're in business to do. They have climbed to number 2 on exterior landscaping in Seattle in the course of 10 days. Partly due to the keyword research, understanding what Google wants, but also partly because we're using WordPress to build the site. We're using a content management site. Interior plant care, they rank number 3. Now notice this. This isn't plant care in Seattle or interior plant care in Seattle. This is the universal search. They're ranking with training organizations, professional organizations, Tropical Plant Association, the University of Arizona's training programs. These are huge interior plant care programs. They've suddenly leaped up to the 3rd place here. This gives them an immense amount of credibility when people in Seattle find them, because they're a nationally ranked company now in the presence of people who are authorities in this field. And last of all, I just want to show one more because this one is my favorite. On the others, if you'd looked over at how many searches there were, you would have seen they were all under 500,000. One of the biggest search terms is people search for the best. People do not search for who's a mediocre company that I can afford. They go in and write in Google, what best landscaper Seattle, best pizza Seattle, best pizza Renton. Well, they didn't rank for landscaping in Seattle at all. Now they have the number 1 and the number 2 spots for best landscaping in Seattle. Who says they're the best landscapers in Seattle? I did. That's who. They paid me to say that. I said it. This is the power of WordPress. We talked in the WordPress class that you don't use your title tags to say the name of your company as the first thing. You use it for your keywords of what people are searching for. People, when we did the keyword search, are searching for best landscaping. So we made sure Seattle's best was in their keywords, in their title tags, on their individual pages. And from nowhere, literally unfindable, they are now the number 1 and the number 2 spot. And believe me, getting both of these increases your traffic quite a lot for landscaping in Seattle. And not only any landscaping, but best landscapers. And this gives them that social proof we've talked about, because although the person who actually says they're the best landscapers in Seattle is me and them, what the searcher sees is Google saying that, and Google has authority with consumers. So this is just a quick demonstration, not of how fabulous I am or how fabulous their website is, although we both are, but of how much juice you can get out of using WordPress's platform to build your site. To think beyond just simply, I want a web store with a shopping cart. To think about how you can use this site to go outside the box, to use the site as your megaphone, to use the site to rank on Google, to use the site to talk to your customers, to really, really, really go beyond the traditional website and integrate all of the fabulous features that there are available to you through WordPress. So if I can figure out how to bring it up, we'll now go back and look at, yay, Janelle's here and she's going to save me. And we'll look at the back end of my blog. Now, this is a blog, and it looks just like any other blog. You'll, if I scroll down it, you'd see that there's pages, new posts every couple of days, different stuff, blog roles, categories. There's nothing really different about this blog. So I'm going to use it as my example of how WordPress works on the back end. So every WordPress blog is going to work the same way here. You go to your blog address, and then you do a / and you do WP-admin. That's always the same. If it's WordPress, this is how you get into the admin area. Then you hit enter, and you'll see this screen. You may have assigned yourself a username. WordPress may not. WordPress may have. A lot of admin people are just named admin. I actually use my name, and a complicated password that I can't talk and type at the same time. And you enter those, and if you are on your own computer instead of somebody else's, you click that Remember Me box, and hopefully you don't have to type it in every time. You do want to try and use a good password and admin name, because you'd be surprised how many people actually, for no good reason, time on their hands, go do malicious things to other people's blogs. It's kind of sad, and you don't want to fall prey to that. Get back up there. So this is the dashboard on WordPress. It's what you come into, and it has a lot of features. It'll show you your recent comments. It'll show you drafts you're saving, pingbacks, plugins, update news, a lot of stuff. But the main thing you want to look at is over here, and it's the heart of working on WordPress. It's where you add new posts. It's where you add new pages. And this is the thing that sets WordPress apart from most other blogging software, is the static pages. The posts you're familiar with, I'm sure. When you add a post on a blog, it's that little article at the top. But WordPress lets you add static pages. And so you'll find things like this website, which has over 20-some pages. Each of these links leads to a static page. So as you go through this stuff, you see page after page after page of content, all of it divorced as far as the reader is concerned from the blog. So to add a new page to your blog, you just click Add New, and you'll get a page that is very similar to the Add Post page or to writing email or anything else. It's really very easy to use. You don't need to learn how to code. This is the beauty of this platform. So you'd give it a title by typing in up here something like new page. I'm not going to be at all creative for you here because I can't hold the phone and type and think. And then you would say something interesting to your customers. You would try to use keywords. You would try to make things linked if you can. You want to use good keywords in your title. You want to use interesting titles. We have a whole class on blogging up on Rockstars, I believe, that talks a lot about titles. It's on Web Seller Circle as well. That'll talk about how to write compelling headlines and how important they are in bringing people in. So you've written your post, and you've made a really interesting one. You've done a good one. Then what you want to do is come over here to attributes and look. You may want to make the main page, use the regular template page. That'll look like every other one. Or you may want to make it a child of another page. I only have 3 pages on my blog, but I can set up child pages like this. This is the main page. These are underneath it. They're subjects about that page. people find that a very easy to navigate system because it clumps the information for them. You do that by working on the parent-child pages over here under attributes. You also have the option, depending on your template, of using just the default template or other templates on your page. For instance, your theme may come with a contact page, and if it does, a lot of information will be filled in automatically for you. Let's go look at the contact page on my blog. It'll say contact us or something similar. And when you click on it, you don't have to know how to build a form on WordPress to be able to use forms to gather information about your customers. You'll get the name, email address, website, and even a CAPTCHA anti-spam thing built in, and then your customer can leave you a message. This will protect you from getting a lot of spam. It'll protect your blog, and it'll also give your customer a safe way to exchange email. It won't expose them as much as just an open email does. You may notice when you go somewhere like Amazon, as soon as you put in your email, you start getting phishing scams. It's because the email address is sent out over the internet unencrypted, even though the information inside the email is protected. The address itself cannot be encrypted. Well, when people use these forms to get in touch with you, their email address is not sent out. Their email address is enclosed inside the body of the message, and it's protected, so they're not going to be getting that kind of spam, and they're not going to be exposed to those kind of phishing scams. And that'll make them feel a little bit better about communicating with you on your site. So that's another way that having WordPress as your blogging platform gives you a big advantage over building it straight on HTML. You may know how to build a form in HTML, but I've built plenty of them, and they're not that easy. They're kind of a pain. So being able to just drop in a form plugin or use a template that uses a form is a big plus. Now, we've talked a bit about plugins, and I want to show you something about them here on WordPress. Plugins on WordPress are things that extend its usefulness. You may find that you want to start selling on your WordPress platform, and it's a little hard to put in a PayPal button. One thing you do is go to the plugins, and you would look for a plugin called E-Commerce. That's its name. Actually, you can't get it through this screen. You have to go to their site. So you would go to Google and you'd write WordPress E-Commerce plugin, and they'd go to their site. And you would just upload it, and it has a shopping cart built into it that will let you sell items, track them by size, track them by variety, like color and things like that. It's a very, very useful plugin for e-commerce sites. Now, I'm not suggesting that WordPress is the solution for e-commerce, but for a small site, you're using it to help build your name on the web, build your presence on the web, get people to your eBay site maybe, bring people from eBay to this site through your blog. You're not going to offer every single thing you have for sale on eBay on your WordPress site, partly because inventory management just becomes really hard. But you may want to offer 20 items. You may have things that are available in different sizes or colors. This e-commerce shopping cart plugin will make it possible. If you look at my site, you'll see I have a whole ton of plugins, and this is just for a blog. I haven't even gotten to the complicated stuff yet, like selling. I have subscription buttons. I have an Ajax comments plugin. When you comment on WordPress, you can't preview your comment before you post it, so you don't see if you've put in HTML tags to make things bold or something. You can't see if any of that's going to work. This comment plugin lets people who use my blog preview it as it's going to appear and know if their stuff works. You have anti-spam plugins. you have one of the most important plugins, the all-in-one SEO pack, that will help you rank at the top of Google almost instantly because it does so many things for you. I have a plugin called Clean Slugs that makes my titles, my permalinks, Google friendly. I don't have to stop and think how to make this title work for Google. So this gives me two titles, a permalink and a blog title. You can't do this unless you have WordPress. If you have WordPress, your permalink is the thing that shows up here in the address bar, and Google sees that. And it doesn't like a lot of different words. They're called stop words. You want to strip all of that out for Google. But you don't want to strip that out for human beings. You have to work both with Google and with your human customers. So you want to have lots of stop words actually in your title because they're things people use in everyday conversation. They're important to being understood. They're important to drawing people's attention. You want to be able to write a title like the 7 most important products you'll ever buy. Google doesn't want to read that. It's going to strip out almost everything but 7 products by. If I saw a title in my RSS feed that said 7 products by, I'd think spam and I'd go right by it. If I saw one that said the 7 most important products you'll ever buy, I might be intrigued enough to click in and read. So you got to be able to do both. Clean Slugs allows you to do that. WordPress allows you to do that. Here's Google Sitemaps that Cindy referenced earlier on. This builds your sitemap automatically. If you've ever tried to build an XML sitemap, you'd know that root canal is just a tiny bit more fun than that. This does it right away. One mouse click, pow, your sitemap is built. And it updates it and tells Google every time you add content to your site. How cool is that? You don't even begin to want to know how much money and time that saves you. You have all kinds of things. Here's one of my favorites, and you can use this not only on a blog but on your website if it's built as a traditional website with pages. Search Suggest. You saw Andrew saying I have to find out that 404 page. A 404 page is what happens when you search for something and it doesn't exist. Your normal 404 page comes up and it says, we're sorry, we can't find the page you're looking for. Now you may want to customize your 404 page, which I've done on several sites, to give people a reason to stay on the blog, because when you get an error message like that, usually you just go looking on Google for the same thing and you leave that site. So you might want to make your 404 page sticky. But what Search Suggest does is it uses a logic to go through the database before the page is served, and WordPress is actually a database. It searches the MySQL database for similar words. So if I have written that I'm searching for posts about Camtasia and I spell it wrong, Search Suggest uses fuzzy logic and that database to come up and say, we can't find what you were looking for, but did you mean to look for that, or did you mean to look for Camtasia? If you wanted Camtasia, here's a whole list of posts about that. This not only makes it sticky, this gives the people what they were looking for in the first place. Try to do that on a web page that you're building yourself in HTML. Very, very difficult and very expensive. This plugin costs exactly nothing. And then there are a bunch of others with our favorite at the end, Google Analytics. And as we talked about earlier with Google, you might have to go and put it in the bottom of 20 individual pages. Here, you just go to this is a different one. You just go to settings and you put it in once and you're good to go. Let me see if I can bring up my settings here. Here's my sitemap. Here's my Google Analytics. I'm not going to show, well, I'll show you a second, real fast. You put in your script code and you tell it a few things you want it to do, and that's it. That plugin is installed. That's all I had to do. Quick copy paste and I'm gone. No 20 pages, no worrying about whether it's in the header or the footer. It's all done automatically for best SEO. So these are the kind of powerful things that are available to you on the back end of WordPress. And don't forget, I'm looking on a blog here, but this is available whether you're using the blog or the static pages. And I want to show you one more thing that a lot of people don't understand in WordPress. This is a kind of a weird setting thing. It's not, a lot of WordPress isn't very intuitive, which is why people like me can make a living on it, even though we give free classes all the time. If you want WordPress to be like that Planscape site where you have both a static landing page, tons of landing pages, and you still have a blog built in to it as well. And you can see the blog looks like Planscapes. Keeps the headers, keeps the sidebar, keeps you on the same site, but it's a blog. It has a date just like a blog does. We've put in a YouTube video here because people love that kind of stuff. This is a real blog. If you want to be able to do that, all you do is come to Settings, go to your reader, which is the second or third item, and you have a choice here. Your latest posts, a static page. If you want your latest post, you just tick that and you do nothing else. If you want a landing page that people come to and see, in other words, if you want to build a website rather than a blog, what you do is say, I want my readers to come to a static page. You tell them which of all the pages you've built you want to be that static page. And then you pick another page that will be your blog. And this is where people get lost. How do you make a blog page? Because when you make a static page, it's a static page and it's not working as a blog for you. I'm going to show you the trick. This trick is literally worth a ton of money. I get paid a lot of money to do this. You come over to Pages, you click Add New, you write a page. Now, watch this. This is magic. You say Blog, and then you click Publish. That's it. Then, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess up my blog. But imagine I'd clicked Publish. Then we come back to Settings. And we go back down here to Reading. And if I had clicked Publish, the reading pane would have I'm sorry, I'm really not able to use Janelle's mouse. I can't even find Janelle's mouse. Here we go.
Janelle's mouse is going to have a complex.
Yeah, we're trying to upset Janelle's mouse. It's that 99% of mice are set up wrong thing.
Or 1% of people are set up wrong.
Yeah, I'm not that 1%. So we go to Reading, and this post page would now have a page called Blog, and we'd select it as our post page. And what that would do would be when you came to your navigation panes, you would now have a page on the navigation page called Blog, and it would indeed just be your blog. And from here on out, anytime you want to post to your blog, you just go and post to your blog as normal. Instead of coming in and going to Pages, you would go to Posts, Add New, and write a blog post. This gives you so much flexibility. This is such a powerful feature, and almost no one is taking advantage of it. This is the power of WordPress. This is the kind of thing that you need to learn how to do on your blog, on your website, to take... See, she did it too. to take advantage of WordPress, because this is what's going to make you stand out. It's going to get you up to #1 on Google. It's going to make your blog really powerful because it'll be integrated with your site. It's going to help your branding. It's going to help your sales. And it's going to make it possible to use a blog as an e-commerce site, because it won't be a blog. It'll be a content management system website. So I'm going to turn you back over to Janelle now, and she's going to go through your questions and show you a bunch of examples of sites that have been able to integrate like this and use WordPress to leverage what would otherwise be a pretty complicated and expensive process into an easy-to-manage website.